Hey everyone, how's everyone doing today? So today's episode is going to be transformation time. And I think this is going to be an awesome it's always great to hear people's personal development journeys and their mindset to just show us, the different types of people that they are and how everyone gets to where they are, and just showing that normal people are this, we're all normal and we can all achieve what we want to achieve. Hi David. And that we just want to, that it's good that you don't feel like it's only special people that can do things, and that we are all able to do whatever we want, and we just have to put our mind to it. So we're going to be having a special guest on. She's going to be telling us about her personal development journey, her mindset. Carmen, there you go. She's here. I'm just going to put her on. She's going to tell us about her, and I'm kind of excited because she's very, very different to what we think a real estate investor is. So let me just get her on. Let me just invite her in. 1 minute, guys. Hey, oh, you're sideways.
I'm sideways. I know. I just realized that. I was like, I think she's the other way. Here, there we go.
Hey,
Awesome.
how
How
are
are
you?
you?
How have you been?
I'm good. I'm so good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I think it's going to be, like I was saying before, I think it's going to be great to hear your stories, hear your adventures, like your personal development journey, because, it's nice to see that so many different types of people can get into real estate, can get so far in life, entrepreneurship. And so I think it's just great to have you on.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, I know I'm the most unlikely real estate investor there is known to man, I think.
And I think let's start with that. Tell us why you feel so
Yeah.
different and why you felt like this was like totally not your journey and you got into it. So tell us a little bit
Totally.
about like that.
Yeah, so I totally did like a 180. I've been in theater my whole life. I've been an actress and teaching and in that kind of world. And it was actually, I went with my partner to, he's a trader, like he trades stocks and stuff. And I went with him to a conference. I had the day off and I was like, yeah, I'll go. I'll learn something. And so we went and we ended up hearing this guy talk about real estate. And I was like, for some reason, I was like, this makes so much sense to me. And so then it was Navtaj. He was my first mentor in Toronto. And I just kind of, it just kind of started to go from there. But I was not interested. The most like I was interested in houses is like Tola, my partner, would like drag me to open houses every weekend. He's like, let's go look at these houses. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not a person who was interested in real estate. I was just very focused on being an actress and teaching. But now here I am 2 years in and I'm loving it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so when you guys were going to the open houses, was it just, were you guys initially thinking about just getting your own place, or was it like with the mentality of like I want to invest initially?
No, it was kind of like dreaming. Like we looked really good on paper. Like I'm a professor, he's a geologist, and we were like, yeah, we're looking for a home. And we were not in a financial situation at that point to have a home, but we were just kind of dreaming, and we didn't even know that we were working our mindset before we even knew that word. So we would go and visualize and be in these places and talk to people about living in these like amazing $1 million homes.
That's amazing. That's so
Mm-hmm.
great to hear. And then so when you got into the mastermind, because we were both in the same mastermind, I remember you just being like, I have no idea what I'm doing and I'm just here, I'm just gonna come and just figure it out. Like seeing that it was more your partner that was more seemed like he was pushing you, but you were the front facing for the mastermind. So what made that shift for you to be more front facing, at least in our mastermind?
Yeah, so it was interesting because when I did say I think I'm interested, Tola, in real estate, he's like, he was shocked at first. He was like, "Are you serious right now?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I had done a little master class before I got into the mastermind with you guys. And Tola was actually finishing up a really intense data science program. So he's like, if you're interested, you got to just take the lead. Learn as much as you can and then fill me in, kind of thing like that. So I was like, okay. So I took like a workshop with Cashflow Tribe, and then totally, yeah, it made sense to me to like get in the biggest pool of water and start learning with like people who did this every day and who were gonna just, and I've always done that though. Even when I learned my somatic practice in acting and all that kind of stuff, to the best people
Oh, you did.
I know. Oh,
Sorry, I have to say that it blanked out for a second. I couldn't hear you.
oh, that's all right. I'm getting like every phone call. I put on do not disturb, but it seems like everybody is calling me right now.
Everyone
But
wanting to disturb.
they're
Usually
like,
how it goes, right?
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I just wanted to learn. So I thought, why not just jump in head first and see what happens. So that's why I jumped into the mastermind, and I really connected with Ben when he talked about like just striving for something bigger than yourself. And so I was like, okay. And at that point, I remember talking to him and saying like, I have no money for this. Like you don't understand. I've been an actress in theater, not in film, in theater where you make no money. Um, well, not a lot of money, but and I said, and he goes, well, this is going to be the best playing field for you, because you're really going to see if you can raise the money, if you can get somebody to invest in you to take the class. And so I did. I raised the money. I got people to invest in me, one particular person, and yeah, and started kind of my journey of investing right then and there.
hmm And I think now that you say that, I think I want to bring this up because I think you'd probably think the same, but I think raising money, we all think it's so hard, but then when we're put in the situation where we have to raise it, and for example, obviously afterwards pay it back, I think that's what made, for example, you and I go and be like, for example, like, holy shit, I just spent all this money and I need to pay it back, right? Was that the same with you? Like, how was your experience of that? Like, once you put that money out, because that was, I would say, a money mindset shift that really helped, I think, propel people forward, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I would have never dropped that kind of coin before in my life. But all of a sudden, you're meeting people who are thinking this way, who believe this way. And I talked to two investors, and the second investor said, yeah, I'll put the money up for you. We worked out like a return on their investment, and then we just went. And of course, I was like, my heart was beating so fast because I was like, now I got to make like a crap load of money to like pay this back. But
Yeah.
I think that has, I think that's been like such a huge learning for me, is just trusting. Like, I don't know. I really like this, like last 2 years has, I feel like I literally feel like I'm a different person inside of myself. Because I only had that scarcity mindset before, totally, all the time, was worried about money, never, working so hard to make the dollar. And then I don't know, just council was the first time I really understood about mindset, the mastermind we were in together. And then I started to do a one-on-one mentorship with Carolyn in Calgary here. She runs Cardia communities, and all of a sudden it just like everything started to open up. And I started to believe that we were doing the right thing, that we were in the right place at the right time. And like all of a sudden I was like negotiating, like at one point I was like, I've been negotiating on $1 million properties, right? And it didn't even faze me anymore. I was like, yeah.
That's so true, isn't it? It's so
Yeah,
true. And for example, now people think, for example, oh my God, like $1,000, that's a lot of money. And I remember talking to a specific person. I was just like, oh, it's like 10,000, okay? And they're like, are you crazy? Like, yes, 10,000 is good. And to me, like, to be honest, like 10, 20,000 is not really that much money anymore when you're talking in the game of real estate.
Yeah.
And just like when you see the numbers, you like that, the money mindset just kind of like my numbers are so much bigger. And it's really funny to like, yeah, you talk to people with the scarcity mindset and they're like, oh my God, like $1,000. And I'm more like, oh my God, 100,000. Like that's where my, my meter has gone up, right? I'm not so like, oh my God, $1,000. Like I'm just like, whatever, take it. Like I have other things to do.
Yeah, I know. So that was like, yeah, a huge switch for me. Just not being and I won't say like, oh, and then I wasn't scared and nothing ever mattered and everything came easy. I actually was just talking about this the other day to a friend, and I said adversity is what creates the foundation of what you can build on. And so like there was times where it went really quiet in real estate for us. And things go up, things go down, and we did really well for a few months, and then things went really quiet for a few months. And I was like, oh my, because we had we stopped our jobs, everything. Well, we didn't stop our jobs. They stopped for us because the pandemic hit. But so we were relying on this income, and it was in those times I think I've learned the most, is just being able to at first I was like, what am I doing wrong? Why is this happening to me? I've been reading all the books, I've been doing everything, and I remember saying to Carolyn, like, oh man, what's wrong? Like, did I do something wrong? And it's then like a few months passed, and now I can look back and I go, oh, that was some huge building blocks for me to even scale bigger. But it's like I had to build that deep foundation, and it has to be built for me, maybe not for everyone, but I can only speak on my own experience. But for me, it had to be built in that adversity of, going, okay, I have to trust in something bigger than myself right now, and really believe that, and just believe right now, today, that it's going to be okay. And the right thing is going to happen when it happens.
Totally agree. Yeah. And I think it's like you said, right? Like the fear comes where it's like, oh my God, nothing's coming. What's going on? But at the same time, it's kind of like what you're saying, where you use that time to actually, like you said, like some people, for example, think, oh my God, business is done and like I'm screwed and now I need to find a job or something, which is like, no, like use this time to go, whatever you didn't have time to do right now, get it done now, because now it's like you have time, build it, prepare it, because when the next rush comes, it's it's like stressful, because like like you just don't even have the time to think about the things that you have to get done because or that you need to get done, because the have to, they're more important at that time. But if the needs, if you have time to get the things that would be good, like, okay, let me get my process in place, or let me make sure I'm like properly organized, like those lulls help. And to be honest, I think also you probably start pivoting a lot. Did you go through a pivoting point? Like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say pivoting is like also I feel like that helps you out a lot too. Whereas like you have the lulls, and if you're into your personal development and there to change your mindset and go into personal development, pivoting starts happening because you're just like, okay, clearly this isn't the strategy right now. We need to start like figuring out what is going on and what the next strategy is. So what were your pivoting points then in this lull?
Yeah, so that's a great, yeah, because we Tola and I were just saying we felt like we like the last couple of months we were in a school zone, and now we're like on out here it's called the Deerfoot. It's like, you know, 4-lane traffic and it's really fast, but like, and now we feel like we're on the Deerfoot and we're like, whew. So I guess for us it was continuing making relationships, and then like recently we've just partnered with another company around seller financing, a really cool seller financing program that's going across Canada, well, Western Canada right now. And that was huge, and it was opening ourselves up, because I remember saying to Tola like, oh man, what are we gonna do? Like, we need to pivot, we need to do something. And he goes, we're in creative real estate, Carmen. It's literally going to like, I didn't say drop in our laps, but he's like, we're going to meet someone and it will just turn. It's just going to turn. Don't, because I was like, maybe we should start planning this and this. And he's like, no, it's going to be something creative that will just attract. And I was like, oh my goodness, that seems so like scary for me. Tola's way more like, yeah, we've got this. He's like a big dreamer, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. But yeah, and it did. We attracted a partnership, and then now we're working, and like I said, we are in like fast lane where we are like not hustling, but just busy.
Yeah.
And so that downtime was like amazing because I just had a baby. So it was nice to have a little more time.
Fun.
But now looking back, like, I wish I would have enjoyed it more and just trusted that this pivot would happen and that everything would work out. But I was definitely like in that big, I was in a worry state. And so I think it took a while to attract, because I needed to really start to believe that that I would be taken care of and that it was going to work out. So
Yeah. And I mean, and I think the important things that you did while this happened was like that, like going to your community and still keeping the lines of communication open, right? Like, I think having the fears are fine and being scared is fine because it helps you push you forward if you're willing to push forward, right? If you're a person that fears and freezes and just stops, then that might be a problem. But if it's like a fear to push you forward, like I need to make money and I need to make sure the bills are paid or whatever the fears are, and it helps you go forward, that's like, it's important. And it's like what you did, right? You're just like, okay, let's keep on communicating. Let's see what everyone's up to, like maybe I can help service in some way, put myself in there, which is like another thing that the community is so important, right? Like building the community helps so much because like that, and even just for understanding where the market is, which is I think like also how you were doing it, right? Because you're talking to everyone, but when you talk to everyone, you also feel like, oh, maybe this is the area to get into now because everyone seems to be going there or whatever, right? Like the community is so important, and like just chatting with people like that. Some people is just like, oh, I don't have time to chat. Like having the chats is so important to like catch up and see what people are doing and just be like, hey, what's going on? Because maybe you don't work together, but maybe they spawn an idea from
yes,
you.
yeah, totally. And that's the other thing is, yeah, building the strong community. And that's what I'm so grateful about, like the mastermind you and I were in. It has built this massive community that it feels like you can touch base with those people anytime. Like you can not talk to them for 6 months and like I can call you up and you'll be like, hey, what's up? And it's just easy, right?
Yeah.
And that was it for us, is in building the community and working with a mentor. Like that has been, doing the one-on-one mentorship with Carolyn was really transformative. Like it transformed me because I had I met with her weekly, and then I got to know her community, and then through her we were introduced to this new partner, and it just kind of like it just snowballs from there. So and then too, when I moved back to Alberta, lots of mastermind members called me because I was in Alberta, and then I've created, like, it just goes on and on and on, is building that community and being inside of it. So that has been unbelievable too. So
100%. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah, a mentor is so important because they just help you even pass through those fears too, right? I'm sure you were telling her like, oh my God, like everything stopped for me, probably get so negative, but then they help you bring you back. Like, what are you worrying about? Let's do this, let's do that, let's do that, you know? And then you're like, okay, let's do it because I have time and I have to figure it out anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm super grateful for that. And I think too, it made me like, I started to realize the levels of mindset, I guess. Mindset was a whole new word for me when I started in real estate. I'd never really thought. I have a somatic practice, like I have a body practice. So I definitely knew about like aligning my body, but I didn't know really aligning my mind with my body. And so that was really big for me. And I think, you start like reading all this material, and then it got deeper and deeper for me, that now it's even turned into more of like a spiritual practice, which was really shocking for me, because it was like mindset, listen to this, do this, be disciplined. And then now I would say that now my mindset has almost turned into a spiritual practice of believing that I have this bigger purpose, and that real estate is a vehicle for that purpose, and just really seeing a bigger picture than I ever could have seen for myself.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with that. Mindset is something that just you realize that you are the one, like you're in the driver's seat, and you don't realize, you think that you don't have the decisions, or like that your mind is actually blocking you from so much greatness, and that it's really your mind that blocks you, and it's nobody else. It's actually you yourself. And once you like open those doors, it's just insane what
Yeah.
comes.
And how, like, yeah, and that's the other thing, is like dreaming bigger than I've ever dreamt, but they're not even dreams now, they're plans. Like we're just making our plans and creating the map to get to them. And also, like, I guess the other thing I really learned in working on this year, if this year was about anything for me, it would be about flow, and just allowing like that flow, that peace, that just to take part, like to be inside of me. And that really stopped me from worrying. Like now I'm just like, it's not my job to worry, it's my job to do the work, and then just the flow will happen. And that's
Totally
what
agree.
I've learned. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Or just even learning to push it aside, like just keep on moving forward. Just keep on moving forward because things they just come as long as you just keep on moving in the direction you want to go.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So there's a question.
Mhm.
It's kind of late though. Thoughts are so powerful. That's the person. And it says, what was the shift for you?
Oh,
So yeah, what was the shift for you?
that's
So I think we
Margarita.
kind of passed that a little bit, but do you know
Yeah.
what he means by that?
Um, Sorry. I think I know that gal, Margarita. Hello.
Mhm.
Thanks for being here. I work with Margarita. She's one of my colleagues and friends here in Calgary. So
Oh,
I would say,
awesome.
what's the shift, like the shift into, I wonder what.
Probably think what was your mindset shift probably? Like how did that shift maybe is maybe what she
Mm,
was.
Yeah. How did it shift? It's just been a gradual process. I would say every mentor that I've worked with has like taught me something new about my mindset. Um, but now I feel, like I said, I'm on a whole new, like, now I really believe it's turned into a spiritual practice, and I'm really about abundance, and I believe that we can all be abundant. I've let go of that scarcity mindset. And I think our lives can be super magical. And I guess the practice for me, the big shift was feeling things and believing them. So like I have spent a lot of time like feeling good, like, and feeling the abundance in my life and the things I used to dream about but now are like plans. I feel them at night, like before I sleep. I let myself kind of go into a dream state and just feel so good and see all the abundance and relationships and even materialistic things that I want, kind of like coming and using them and flowing in them. And so feeling good was a huge shift for me, and allowing my, like when I would feel my mind start to go, no, this is, you know what, you should just go get a job at the grocery store. You guys can't do this. Like literally, you can't. I would just allow myself to feel good. I'd be like, no, I totally believe we're here, that, you know, we're too far on this journey now. We can't turn back. And like you said before, Diana, like there was times where we were like, maybe we should just, well, I was more like, should we go get a job at the grocery store and start packing groceries? But, but Tola was like, no, like we're here and this is what we're supposed to be doing. And so I started to just believe it. And when I started to believe it, like crazy things have happened. Like we have scaled our business in this last year. That is, I can believe it because I did it, but it was just so much of letting go, like literally let go and just ride the wave, get on top of that wave and just ride it. And not to feel the fear anymore. Anytime I would feel fear, I would just be like, no, I believe I live in abundance. And you know, those like I am statements, I would have some of my I am statements, and it all sounds like, when I'm talking about it sounds like I'm like, oh, yeah, it sounds.
It's just, you know, the power of talking to yourself and like opening up your mind and like that realizing that it's us, our minds talking to us and bringing us down. And it's us having to be like, nope, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about what I want to do. And it is true. Like, it's very helpful to, if you're going on a down, like just start like saying the positive things. You want to, like, it's a brainwash. Like you have to brainwash yourself, right?
Totally.
Like you have to be like, no, you know, like I want this, I want that. This is what I want my future to look like. You just start all of a sudden going to a meditative state, right? And you're just like, because you're fixing yourself, you know, and like you said, like you were initially about your body, like fix it, like how your body was, and didn't think about your mind. And I think it's very true that none of us are taught about the importance of our mind, right? Because even same thing with me, in a different sense than you, but for example, exercising is so important. And especially when I was younger, like I would get into exercising would actually take me into meditative states because you have to go into hardcore focusing and stuff. But I can say I never understood it until getting into this, where we start talking about like personal development and mindset, where I was just like, because of sports, it took me there, but I never knew how I got there. Like I was just like, go, go, go. I was very competitive. So just like it comes with the territory, but I never understood it Whereas like now it's like you're learning to harness that
Yes.
yourself and figure out like, okay, like I just need to tweak this in my mind. I need to tweak that in my mind. I need to do this in my mind, and I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And yeah, so it has been a journey, but it's been like the best 2 years. I know we've been in a pandemic, but it's literally been such a life-changing 2 years for me. I mean, hindsight is 2020, but like I wish I would have known this like 15 years ago. I would have accomplished way more in life, but that's all right. I know that all that life is here to be a foundation to the next part of my life. But yeah, so it's been a huge thing about changing that mindset and knowing, like you said, I'm in control of it, complete control. Um,
Yeah. Like
and
even things, I don't know if you do this to yourself, but even things like when something goes wrong now, like a lot of people blame someone else. Now I blame myself. I'm like, Diana. I was like, you totally did that to yourself. I was just like, and then it's just kind of like, again, like putting that, like, you need to do talking to yourself, right?
yeah,
Like, why did you allow this to happen to you? Like, you're probably in a bad mood or whatever the
yeah,
reason is for that day. Does that happen to you? I like now
totally.
stop
Yeah.
myself.
I'm like, oh, why did you make that choice, Carmen? Let's ask yourself that
Oh, is
question.
it cutting out?
Or believing, oh yeah, are you still there? Uh,
Yeah, I don't know if I'm the one who's. Oh, okay. Oh, I see you again. Sorry, I don't know who. Are you? Can you see me fine now? Oh, she's got cut out.
yeah,
Okay, hold on. It
you're
says I'm
breaking up a
here.
little bit. Like there you go. I'm still here. I'm here still.
Are we delayed though? Because I saw a message come from you. I'm here
Yeah.
still.
I'll
Okay.
I'll see if I can go to a different part of the house. Maybe it's me. This is usually where I do my lives though.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
think we're okay now though. I think
yeah.
we're okay. It
Okay.
looks like we're back. Yeah, I think there might maybe a little glitch in the internet and that's it.
Yeah. You're still there?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, did you want to say what you said? Because yeah, completely cut off. I didn't hear any of the last part you said.
Oh, I wonder what I said. I totally forgot. That's how oh, I was talking about mindset and oh yeah. Um Knowing happens for a reason too. That's another thing I really believe now. Like if things go wrong, I'm like, "Oh, I guess there's something better." Or I guess that
Mhm.
wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
Or
Or
I
like
guess
the learning of it. Like I did something wrong there. I need to switch it up. Like I've noticed like that same thing. Like I've become very analytical of myself. Like I was like, oh, that's interesting. I was like, what did I do wrong or why did this happen? Or like that, like maybe this wasn't the opportunity for me, so I need to
yeah.
move on. Hmm.
Yeah, and that's been another thing because before I think I would have thought about it being rejection or again I did something wrong, but now I'm like, oh, this is an opportunity to learn. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Or or yeah, that wasn't for me, so I'll just carry on. So
Hmm.
those are huge things that yeah, and the learning, like when we talk about like when things don't go the way I thought they were supposed to or I had planned, I have really been able to learn in those times. Like really stop and go, what am I learning? How is this going to help me into the future? And then now I can look back and be like, oh, if that wouldn't have happened, I would not have known all of this. And I probably wouldn't have made this decision that made me more money. So
Hmm.
that's been a huge thing for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. So what would you say then, for example, before getting into this, like now looking back into your life, what skills do you feel like you had from the past that helped you really get to where you are now?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. Just because I think being an actress, I think I can get on the phone and talk and like I can learn. So like I remember I described this concept that's can be complicated to this guy who was learning it too. And he's like, how did you explain that so clearly and in so quick? And I said, well, because I just visualize it as I'm talking to you about it. And it's exactly the way you learn a script, right? Is that you're saying somebody else's words and their feelings and thoughts. You're taking on a character. So you have to visualize it and feel it. And so I will say that I think I'm really great at getting on, because you have to talk to so many people in real estate, right? So I think and when you're because we're in creative real estate, we're always describing something that's super creative to a person that maybe it's not mainstream. So and because I've been a teacher for the last 15 years, not a school teacher, but I taught somatic practices to actors. And so so I've been able to kind of explain and teach at the same time on the phone, and be able to get a concept through to someone quickly. So I think that's really been helpful. And as an actor, you get rejected like all the time. You go to so many auditions and you don't get them. And so when I'd get on the phone and somebody wouldn't want like to chat with me, I've never really taken it personally. I was like, oh, okay, next. So that's been a big thing for me, is those skills have been really really helpful to be able, and to just, I can now too, I can I kind of almost have scripts, to talk on certain things, and I can just present them quickly because of my background. So those are the skills that have definitely come with me.
Yeah, those are great examples, because it is true. Like all that you said is everything that you need to do. And it's nice to show people in general that anything that you learn outside of real estate is completely transferable here. You just really have to know yourself, to know what are your skills, to
Yeah.
use it to your benefit. Like you're saying, like, we'd never think, for example, an actor would want to get into real estate investing, but then it's like you look, wow, like look at all the skills you have to get you in it and to be able to do it, and it's just you knew yourself well and you applied it to work for you in this area.
Yeah, and I think that was the other thing Tola and I figured out, is we have such a different skill set, that he is totally not as social as I am, and he has a marketing background, and he's really good at systems and processes and all that. And so we just split up our business. Not even like, we didn't really talk about it. I was attracted to a certain part and he was attracted to a certain part. And then now that's just what we do. And it's funny, is sometimes we're working and we don't even talk about what we're going to do. We just know what we're good at and our strengths are, and we just do those things. And so I've been like super grateful for that. And that's the other thing is I would say in real estate, I've learned is to work with someone who has a different skill set than you do. I mean, I've been lucky that I live with the person, like Tola and I have a baby together, and then we also run this business together. But that has been so great, to work with someone, because then you're accountable to another person, and we've been growing together too. So we're reading the same books, and then when we go on walks, we're able to talk about those kinds of things, like what we're learning and what's changed for us and stuff like that. So I would say that, yeah, real estate investing feels like a huge community event to me, because you need so many different people. You need a realtor, you need an inspector, you need all these different people to make a really great investment, which is like theater too. Like when you're in the theater, you need a stage manager, you need a director, you need actors, you need a set designer, you need all these people to create this wonderful experience. And I feel like investing is the same way in real estate.
Yeah. And like that exactly said, like great point is that it's you're always what you've done in the past, you can always relate it to something else. You know, it just may look a little different, but it can always be related to make it easier for anyone to understand. You know, it's just like whatever you have, you just kind of, how does this make sense in real estate investing? And it's like you guys did that so well. Another point that you guys made that I think was good was that, you know, having opposite skills and just using each of your strengths to push forward and get what you guys need done. Because that is so important. It's very true how and I think it just starts coming out, right? Like you said, like you just start doing what you're good at. He's obviously doing what he's good at. And then, you know, things just, you guys just move together. Or you see, like, if he's struggling in something, I'm sure you're helping out, vice versa, he's helping you out. And then it's
Yeah.
just like you guys are just moving forward.
Yeah, I'm laughing because Tola coaches me a bit when I get off the phone with someone. He's like, you should have said it like this. And I was like, before I'd be like, okay, thank you. But now I'm like, okay, so what? Well, he's like, I think you could have said it like this and you could have done this instead. And I'm like, okay, thanks, coach. Got it. Got it, coach.
And it also has to do with your personal development mindset, right? Because now I think before we would always say things as criticisms, like negative
Yeah.
criticisms, or just get tired of it. I don't know what it is. Where now it's like we're in such a all we care about is learning, 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 that someone tells you something. And like that's something I've seen with other people, you know, like now same thing what you say, like someone tells me something, not even related to real estate, like someone says something to me, and now it doesn't spawn like anger or annoying or whatever. It spawns me to question it, like, what did I do for that to happen? Or what did, you know, maybe I should change, like I need to change something. Or it's like it's very different. When you're in personal development mode and mindset change, you don't get so upset about it anymore. You're like it makes you just analyze. You're like, yeah, I need to fix myself. What did I do wrong in the situation, or how can I improve the situation
Yeah,
for next time? Yeah.
totally.
And
Yeah.
I find that's also super interesting where it's like you just yeah, you start like switching over where it's now you just take everything as learning experience and you're not like getting upset for like little things where it's just like before you would and now it's like no, no. Like this is like I need to change something in me. Oh, can you
Yeah,
still hear me?
totally. Everything's an opportunity. Yeah.
Sorry, I think it got a little delayed, but yeah. But so now that you've been in this, like you said, for 2 years, what are now skills that you want to learn or are needing to learn to advance yourself? Like, do you have anything in mind where you're now thinking to advance more?
Yeah. Well, now, um, yeah, I guess Tola and I were just talking about that. Like, what is the next thing? Like, where are we going and what do we need to learn to kind of like level up to that next part of so right now we're working in this seller financing program where we're offering seller financing to people, and now I'm learning tons about mortgages and private money and how to lend private money and all the different creative ways that you can lend money. I had no idea. And one of our goals is to be private lenders, right? And so I said to Tola, I'm like, wow, this is like another stepping stone for us to learn how to lend money privately. And so now I'm learning so many different ways of it right now. And so it's been really helpful and really cool. So I guess that's kind of what we're working on right now is that skill set. And yeah, I guess that's probably what we're mostly. And what I was gonna say, like also just putting myself more what was I gonna say, like living on, like not being embarrassed of this, is not embarrassed, but like being more forward and speaking at certain things. Like before I was really quiet about being an investor, but now I'm like, No, I love chatting about real estate. I love chatting about creative real estate and taking opportunities to educate. I guess I'm getting super passionate about real estate because I think there's so many ways to invest, and I don't think we learn enough in school about them. And so now I'm like, maybe I need, to start something around education, and not for investors, but for just everyday people, so that they know the different ways that they can actually like succeed in life. Like if you can't get a mortgage with the bank, there is 100 different other ways to get yourself a home. And if you're young and you're making like lots of money, then there is so many ways for you to invest that money now. So I guess those are the things that I'm kind of like looking into the future about, because I just think that we've been taught, or I was taught one way, like get a realtor and then get a house. But there's so many different ways. So that took a long time for me to say that.
No, but it's so great, and it's so true. And I think again, it comes with the territory. I think at the beginning it's because we don't know very much, and then so you don't know how to express yourself well enough, and people like completely put you down, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to get myself in that situation. Where now we're in a point, because I'm the same way, I have to say. Now, if anyone wants to talk to me about real estate, I'm like, I'm game. Let's do this, And same thing, like you just start seeing, like you said, like you just like everyone needs to know what I know. It's like I want you guys to know like this amazing this world that we're in, and it's just like you guys are missing out, and it's like the passion comes because it's like I want everyone to see what I see.
Yeah.
Which I
Yeah.
think is like exactly where you're going, right? It's like you just want like people to be successful and not worry about money or see all the different options that are available out there.
Yeah, totally. And so now I know. So sometimes I'm like, okay, don't say anything, Carmen. But then, then I'm like, well, maybe I should just mention it a little bit. But yeah, so I'm super passionate about it. Even when I get on the phone and talk to someone and say, listen, you might not want to go with us, but I do want to educate you about like other ways you can sell your property or be able to profit, just because I think it's important. Like my mentor always talks about like what, us being in service to other people. And I think that was a huge thing for me, is to, because I mean, I am kind of competitive, but I'm not like a money hungry competitive person. So there has to be something rooted in goodness for me to do something, or else I'm just not that interested. And so when Carolyn started talking to me about like that we are in service to other people, through real estate and through creative strategies and solutions, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense to me. And that's when things really started to move for us, is when I was like, oh, I can get on board of being in service to someone else and helping them out. And so that was another huge shift for me.
Yeah, that's funny. That was one of my shifts too. Specifically like that, when you go to someone, let's say wanting to buy their house, I
Mm-hmm.
was always worried. Like, I'm like, I don't want to seem like what the traditional salesperson looks like. So I was like, I have bad feelings about them, and I'm like, I don't like it. So why would I want to be that person? And
Exactly.
it was the same thing, once you realize that you're not selling them something, you're trying to solve a problem for them, and you're trying to help them out. Then I was same thing as you. I can work with that. That is like totally in my realm of what I like to do. And like that, like you feel like for me, like I love helping people. So it's just like, how is this not going to like it made it so much easier. Because then talking to people, I was coming in the sense of how can I help you? To before I was like, you always see a salesperson as what can I sell you? You know, and I don't think in that way. Like exactly you said, like even if they don't come to me with anything, I was just like, I just want to help you. So if like it's not us, just think about these things, you know?
Yeah.
And it's and you start noticing that a lot of people, to be honest, like like a lot of people love to help, and it's I don't know, we also for some reason have this mentality where it's like I don't know, oh, what if people are going to screw me over, or people are mean, or people are this, people are that, and I don't know, at least in the realm of positivity and being with the right people, you don't see that happening. Everyone's
I
there to just work together and help
there.
each other achieve their goals.
That's definitely been my experience in real estate. I've worked with amazing people and met like amazing investors. Like and I don't have a bunch of like, oh, then I got screwed over stories. I'm really careful who I work with, and um I just make sure I have a good synergy with them. And if I don't feel it,
Exactly.
I just walk away. It doesn't matter how much money's on the table, I'll walk away, because I'm like, if this feels bad now, you know, it's like a
Yes, we
relationship.
do.
If it doesn't feel good now, how is it going to feel in 5 years? Probably not that great. So,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely agree. And I mean like that because when you're in whatever it is like your mindset wants to be or in that feeling, like you're gonna attract those people. And obviously some others may come, but you know how to like identify them and exactly you said, like you're like, oh, okay, you know, I don't think it'll work with this person, you know, like I'm gonna, you know, keep on looking or whatever it is.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and like Margarita said here, going with your gut feeling, and that has I've learned a lot. Is just like being able to feel it and go, and that I and maybe that's like a more of a woman thing. But because I've been mentored lately by women, we also talk about going with your gut feelings. Like, can you sense that other person right away? And then what do I feel from there? So I'm not sure, but I know that in a space where I'm being mentored with women a lot, we talk a lot about going with your gut feeling and being able to just sense something immediately and going with it. So,
That's awesome. So the final last question.
okay.
So what do you see yourself, like what are your future plans? Like what do you see, where do you see yourself being in the next 5 years?
That's a great question. Tola and I talk about this a lot. And he says that I need to make some decisions because I'm like, should we do
So
this?
we're making them right now
Yeah,
live.
exactly. I'm like, oh my God, the pressure's real. The pressure's real. Um, I guess I mean we do want to be in that private lending space, so we will be there probably. Well, I would say before 5 years. I want to be living in a house with a pool, an indoor pool. That's like a big goal. um, and I guess for me, probably creating some kind of like education alignment with body and mindset, um, like thing. I don't know. I'm still figuring out what that's going to be. Um, and Tola and I are working on 7 streams of income right now. So that's a huge goal for us. So we've started, like we've got 3 and we're working on another 3 right now. So we know that, yeah, 7 streams of income is really important. So I guess those are some of our goals in the next 5 years. And for us, it's always about systems and processes. So we're always creating something to be able to repeat it over and over and over again to get really good at it. And we're actually going to just start hiring too. So we're at that point where we're going to need to get people working with other people inside our business. So those are our goals.
Congratulations. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. Yeah, it is. So
And a whole new other learning experience with hiring people.
yes, exactly. So we're just learning that process right now. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on. It was so much fun to chat with you and get to hear your personal development journey and your mindset.
Thanks, Diana. I appreciate. Thanks for having me, and thanks for having this channel. This is such a great idea. I love it.
Oh,
To be able
thank you.
yeah, this is so amazing. So thanks so much. Have a fantastic night.
You too. Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye.